Welcome to Crime Maze. In this video we are going to talk about 5 attempted murders gone wrong. Before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to Crime Maze channel for future updates. Cold cases are occasionally solved, sometimes by forensic evidence and sometimes through re-examining clues. After some time has gone, a witness or suspect may decide to speak up, or people may be more forthcoming with details. The good news is that families can come to a better understanding of what happened, even if it means reliving many terrible details during a trial or hearing. Check out our collection of 5 attempted murders that went wrong. You'll learn how forensics techniques aid in the conclusion of many cases, as well as how, on occasion, other factors propel a case forward. Number 5. Cold case murder of Krystal Beslanowitch, 1995, solved through forensic technologies. A determined officer who was the original investigator in the 18-year-old murder of Krystal Beslanowitch in Utah assisted in bringing this case to a conclusion. Sheriff Todd Bonner couldn't let the case go. According to the Huffington Post, Beslanowitch died of a crushing hit to the head when she was 17 years old. Her body was discovered by the Provo River in 1995, where she worked as a prostitute. Investigators eventually got anywhere in 2013, when new forensic methods were utilized to retrieve touch DNA from the granite rock that crushed her head, which took a whole day. In actuality, the DNA extraction was made possible using a device known as a forensic vacuum. The DNA was found to match a Joseph Michael Simpson, a local resort bus driver at the time. Simpson, now 46, was apprehended in September of this year in Florida. Number 4. The disappearance of Sherri Miller and Pam Jackson, 1971, solved by a fisherman. This cold case, which has been unsolved since 1971, may have been helped by an alert fisherman. Sherri Miller and Pam Jackson, both 17, vanished in a 1960 Studebaker Lark while driving on country roads to a party at a gravel pit. A fisherman near the state's Brule Creek found an automobile submerged upside down in the water in September of 2013. The vehicle was pulled from the creek the next day, and skeletal remains, thought to be those of the 2 girls, were discovered inside, according to NPR. According to NPR, the creek was less than half a mile from the gravel pit where the girls were headed, and the license plate and a hubcap from the vehicle matched the vehicle the girls were driving, despite being badly decomposed. Even though it appears that this 42-year-old cold case is about to be solved, it's possible that no one will ever know what happened to cause the Studebaker to end up in the creek. Number 3. Death of Pamela Shelley, 2001, solved through a guilty plea. Pamela Shelley was found with a gunshot wound to the head in the Texas home she shared with her boyfriend in 2001 and died en route to the hospital. She had recently divorced her husband and relocated with her 2 children from Arkansas to Texas to live with an old family friend, Ronnie Jo Hendrick. According to the Victoria Advocate, her death was initially ruled a suicide, but the case was reopened 7 years later at the request of investigator Carl Bowen, who had been on patrol and responded to the initial incident. The suicide decision never felt quite right to Bowen, and enough evidence was eventually gathered to prosecute Hendrick in October 2012, with a trial planned for September 2013. A presentation of cold justice highlighting Shelley's case a few days before the trial demonstrated that she could not have shot herself in the head from the angle taken. Hendrick instead pleaded guilty to a charge of murder after a mistrial. He was given a 22-year prison sentence. "There was never a doubt in my mind that she didn't do it," said Shelley's brother, Donald Curley, in an interview with the Victoria Advocate. Number 2. Murder of Rania Reeson, 1993, solved by new testimony. It was unclear what happened to Rania Reeson when she vanished at the age of 16 in 1993, only to be discovered dead a month later in an Indiana pond by a fisherman. The case was classified as a homicide and shown on America's Most Wanted in 1993. It remained unresolved until this year, when her former boyfriend, Jason Tibbs, now 38, was apprehended, according to the NW Times. Authorities charged Tibbs with strangling her to death after an altercation about the 2 of them getting back together in August. It was the testimony of a former buddy, Eric Freeman, who said he witnessed Tibbs strangle Reeson, and then helped him dispose of her body in the pond in July 2013. Given that prosecutors promised him immunity, the defense has questioned the reliability of Freeman's statement. It's unclear how the criminal procedures against Tibbs will turn out, but Reason's family now has a better sense of what transpired when she went missing that evening after work in 1993. Number 1. Murder of Sarah Lynne Weinski, 2005, solved through DNA evidence. Unfortunately, when a homeless or transient individual dies, the police may not pay as much attention to the case. Sarah Lynne Weinski, a transient found killed and raped outside a Ronald McDonald house in St. Petersburg, FLA, in 2005, was not one of them. Screams were heard around 11 p.m. on May 21, 2005, according to 10 News, but her body was not discovered until the following afternoon under a deck behind the house. At the site, DNA evidence was collected, but no progress was made until this year, when it was matched to Raymond Samuels, who is 31 years old as of this writing, November 2013. He has been in Ohio prison for attempted murder and kidnapping since 2006, and will be extradited to Florida. Samuels, a vagrant, was also in the neighborhood around the time of Weinski's death. According to investigators, DNA was crucial in solving this crime, and Samuels is now charged with first-degree murder. Here are a few more examples. The murders of 3 prostitutes. 1990, solved through DNA evidence. At the end of October 2013, detectives filed 3 first-degree murder charges against Donna Perry, 61, for allegedly killing 3 prostitutes in 1990 in Spokane, Wash, with a .22 caliber handgun. The deaths of Yolanda Sapp, 26, Nikki Lowe, 34, and Kathleen Brisbois, 38, were thought to be connected at the time of the murders, but the link wasn't discovered until this year. According to the Spokesman Review, Perry, whose real name was Douglas Perry before a 1990 sex transition, was arrested in 2012 on federal accusations of illegal guns possession. The case of the 3 women's deaths was reopened in 2005, and DNA evidence was submitted in 2009 and sent through a federal database, where it was eventually matched to Perry. Other evidence, such as old-looking women's underwear, was discovered in Perry's wardrobe. She was transferred from a Texas prison to Spokane to face accusations. The murder of Maria Riedolf, 1957, solved through a deathbed confession of a mother. A 72-year-old security guard, Jack McCullough, was arrested for the crime 55 years after 7-year-old Maria Riedolf was taken from the streets of Sycamore, Hill, and found choked and stabbed to death. According to the Huffington Post, it wasn't forensic evidence that prompted police to reinvestigate McCullough as a possible suspect, but rather his mother's deathbed confession in 1994, in which she admitted to lying about his alibi. McCullough's half-sister gave the cops this information in 2008. McCullough was one of roughly 100 possible candidates, but he appeared to have a strong alibi at the time of the murder. His mother had provided evidence of his whereabouts. However, as a result of her admission about her alibi, police reopened their investigation into McCullough, who was sentenced to life in prison for the crime in 2012. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.